table where we laughed and talked all day. So long ago, love was offered. The joy of being together made you want to stay. Take me back.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Life with Nana. I'm Nana, and I'm so glad that you're here today. Today, we are continuing on with our Every Bit Counts challenge. This challenge is put on by Jessica over at Three Rivers Homestead. And I have in this bowl a few tomatoes. So we're going to be doing the zesty salsa out of the complete book of home preserving. So that we're going to be doing that. But we're only going to be doing about half of what it calls for. So here I have about 2 cups of onion and about 2 cups of pepper. And I also have some jalapeno pepper in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this in because we'll use this bowl to do our tomatoes. Now I just put these tomatoes in some boiling water so that I could get the skin to slip off. You'll see what I'm talking about here. There's a little spot on the bottom of this. I'm going to cut that off. But then the skin just comes right off. Now the way I've been doing my tomatoes all year is just grinding them up, skin and all, because I'm going to, mostly this year's harvest is going to be tomato powder. I'm going to freeze dry it. And so, but today I thought, well, let's do something different. And I had these few tomatoes, and I thought, well, we can get a little bit of salsa. We don't eat a lot of salsa, but every now and then I want some. And so I also had some banana pepper that was in my freezer, and I had some jalapeno pepper that was in my freezer. And I just got those out and used those as part of what's in this. Let me get my bench scraper. And we're going to mix all of this together, and then we're going to put it on the stove and simmer it for just a few minutes, and we'll put it in our jars. I'm going to get those put in the canner. I almost stumped that right there. Well, I was going to count, but oh well. You can see how I love it when it does that. And the riper the tomato, the easier that happens. If they're not real ripe, that doesn't happen near so well. These are a mixture of Early Girl and German Giant. And I probably won't plant either one of these again because they both have big cores. And they just make it difficult to work with, and I don't like that. So next year we're going to find a different variety to grow. If we grow tomatoes, we may have enough tomato powder by the time we get this all freeze dried. We have a Harvest Right freeze dryer, and it functions very well in the fall, winter, and spring, but it does not do well where we have it. It's because of where we have it. We have it in our garage, and it does not do well in the Alabama heat because of the garage heat. The recipe calls for 10 cups, but I'm doing half of a recipe because we're just doing with what we have, and this is the amount of tomatoes I had. So I'm really hoping to get 5. I probably already put a little bit in there, so. Love that. I don't know why, but that's very satisfying when that will come off like it's supposed to. So I've been looking for this cookbook. I knew it was here somewhere. I told you in one video that I had misplaced it. And y'all, it was in the top drawer over there. And I know I've looked in that drawer at least 10 times and did not see it. But I sure was happy when I found it today, because I do like that cookbook, canning book a lot. This is a great way to use up things that you have maybe already put away, like I did the peppers. Now I could have went outside and got peppers because there's still peppers out there, but we picked them pretty hard the other day, and I chopped them all up and put them in the freezer. And I thought, whew, why am I going to go out there and get that when I have those already in the freezer? I've got my canner turned on over here, heating up. I need to get some jars in there. I should have had the jars in there and letting them heat up along with it. So let me stop right here for a minute before that gets too hot. And go ahead and get my jars put in there. The water looks hotter than it actually is. You can see that steam rising up. But alright. So we're going to hope for 7 jars, but I don't think we'll get that many. But we'll see. A few little tomatoes. All of these are early girls. They're a beautiful tomato. But they have this core in them, and I'm not sure if it's just because there hasn't been a garden here in so long, that's the reason they're doing that this year, or what. I don't know. Three more. We've had a busy day today. Here and there and yonder, you know how those days are. I'll cut this green off. I think we're going to have 5 cups. It's actually cooled down just a little bit, for us anyway. I was glad that Alabama heat can be very oppressive at times. It's about this time of year that we all get, or at least I get tired of everything that's coming in, and I'm glad that it's waning down. Don't get me wrong, I'm very, very thankful. Alright, so that's going to be 4 cups plus what I put in there. That's going to be 5. Alright. Alright, so we have our tomatoes and onions and peppers in here. And we need a 1/2 cup plus of just a splash more of vinegar. It called for 1 1/4 cup. So we just need a tad bit more because we're halving the recipe. And if you had fresh cilantro, that would probably be better. But I don't, so I'm going to calls for 2 tablespoons of fresh. I'm just going to put the equal amount of dried. I need some salt. Let me get some canning salt. You always want to use canning salt or a non-iodized salt when you're canning, if at all possible. So, I need a 1/2 teaspoon. And you can also put hot peppers in this. You could put pepper sauce in this. It calls for that too if you wanted it in there. I don't want it in there, so I'm going to move this over to the stove. Okay, so we have everything in our pan. Look how pretty that looks. I have all kinds of peppers, different color peppers. And we're just going to bring this up to a good rolling boil. And then we will get our jars out of the canner and we will fill each jar, put a brand new lid and ring. The ring doesn't have to be new, but the lid needs to be. And we'll see how many jars we get. I'm expecting 3 or 4, and if we get 3 or 4, that's great. Whatever we get, I'm going to be thrilled with. And it's a different way to use up some tomatoes than I've been doing. And I've got my rings and lids. These are the canning lids that I like. They're called 4 jars. I order them off of Amazon, but you can go to their website if you want to. And a lot of times if you go to some of the content creators, their Facebook pages, in their show notes, sometimes you'll find an affiliate link and you can get a little bit knocked off of that if you want to do that. This smells wonderful. See some bigger pieces of tomato, and I'm just trying to get those kind of chopped up a little bit. Try to get everything ready for when we get ready to put this in the jars. So I'm trying to get everything ready so that when we put this in the jars, we'll be ready to go. I'm just getting a little vinegar so I can wipe the top of the rims of the jars. Give me a paper towel. Got the ladle, jar lifter, canning funnel. I think we're ready to go. So we're going to water bath these for 10 minutes, and that'll be all there is to it. When you're water bathing, it has to be a high acid food like tomatoes, and we made it even more high acid by using the vinegar in there. And you want at least 5% on your vinegar because that's just what it calls for. And so this is starting to bubble up, so I'm going to start getting a couple of jars out of the canner. You want this to come up to a boil that will not stir away. So you want this pretty hot. And anytime you're canning food, you really want to follow the guidelines set by the National Home Food Preservation website. You really want to stick with what they say. They know what they're doing. And even if you have seen your mom or your grandmom do things and it worked, it might still work, but why take a chance, right? When you can do it the correct way and you don't ever have to worry about it. Now this, for us, will probably be used as something that we put with rice when we're cooking our rice, or something like that, pour over a roast or something. We don't typically eat salsa and chips, just on a rare occasion. All right. So it's still boiling, and I've stirred it a couple of times, and I'm going to start getting these in the jar. Let's see. Yeah, that vinegar is strong. We have a new to us vehicle, and if you heard that in the background, that's because we don't know how to do everything on it yet. All right, so we're going to get 4 pints. I'm going to take some vinegar and just go around the tops, make sure that they're nice and clean. I guessed pretty good because that's what I had out was 4. Let's turn you around so you can see the canner. Now I'm just going to leave those empty jars in there. It won't hurt anything. And that'll keep these from falling over or moving around too much. All right. I need a little more hot water, so I have my kettle going, and so we're going to wait on that for a second, and then we'll get the lid on this and get it canning. And we'll have 4 more jars to go on our shelf. Isn't that wonderful? I love how this challenge kind of encourages you to use up things that maybe you wouldn't have used, you know. And I still have a few tomatoes over there, and I have tomato plants out there. So, you know, we'll still be getting some tomatoes here and there. So, see if my kettle's hot. Alright, so my kettle is gone off. I'm going to fill up these empty jars. And I'm going to put the lid on. I'm just going to put that down. I'm not going to lock it. It's on vent. And we're going on to the next step. So all we'll have to do is get these out of the canner when they get ready. And that should be in about 15 to 20 minutes by the time they cool down. And I'll bring you back. Alright, our canner's done. So we're going to get these 4 jars of salsa out and see what they look like. They look beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I love the way that looks. Well, all right. 4 more jars to go on our canning shelf. I'm very thankful for the Every Bit Counts challenge, because without that, I would not have done this today. I probably would have sat in my recliner because I just haven't been feeling motivated the last few days. It's been so hot here. But we're going to get up and we're going to do things and we're going to get things done, right? Remember that Nana loves you. Remember I'm so proud of you. And remember, you always have a friend here. And I'll see you on the next one.